I may sound a little different because I'm on a new computer and a new headset, and I've tried to play with the levels. I think I've got it working, but if you guys have trouble hearing me tonight, let me know. We'll play with
You
it.
sound fine to me.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, how have you guys been the last few weeks?
Been okay. New car, car shopping today. That's always fun.
Oh, yes. Out of necessity or just time to get something different?
Well, the one I've got now is a 2008, and we found out the frame's got some rust holes in it, so figured it's probably time to get something a little safer.
Yeah, especially with the family. It's like, you want to make sure that that's good. Yeah, okay, well.
So yes, out of necessity.
Alright. Looks like... Okay, we're getting... Okay, I see Bob is on the Roll20. Casca and Jason on Discord. There was a message from Marcel, a late message that he wasn't going to be able to make it after all. So we will figure out what you guys want to do. I have been in the middle of super busy season at work. We have all of the 2022 projects that are on the calendar. Now that it's the end of the first quarter, we're now into the second quarter. All of the departments are like, well, let's actually get these going. Let's start them all at the same time. Like, okay. Do we really want to start them all at the same time? Yes, we do. We're a growing and expanding company, darn it. That's just how we want to do things. Do it all at once.
Well, do they give you impossible dates to meet? Because that's what they like to do to me.
It's, well, no. But then what they like to do is they like to get down to the last minute and then change a lot of things. So, they give you plenty of lead time. And so when the dates are going to happen. So you start scheduling out all the work you're doing. And then as it gets to sometimes as late as the day it launches, it's like, hey, we've changed this and this and this. Go ahead and get that updated for us, can you? It's like, what?
Yeah, whenever a project team tries that, it says, oh, well, we need to change this table and add this other stuff. And I'll be like, okay. The project starts all over. We go back to the first migration and we extend our dates out. And they'll be like, no, we can't do that. And I'm like, well, then you're not getting that change.
All right. Well, welcome, everybody. I am DM Galabond, and after a long layoff, feels like it's been a month. It probably has been a month since we have played this game. We are back to Saturday Night Greyhawk. We have 2 players that are out tonight. One of our players is yay fun at a con this weekend, so hope Heather's having a great time there. And Marcel is prepping for an exam tomorrow, so He is actually doing important stuff instead of playing a game tonight. So we wish Marcel good luck on the exam. In the meantime, the last time we saw our heroes in this here game, they were outside of the dungeons of the Temple of Elemental Evil, and they were trying to decide what to do when a group of ne'er-do-wells that had been sent from Nulb came marching into the area, and along with the recruits that they got from down below, the gnolls that they had, the new gnolls that they had recruited, the PCs were able to dispatch those guys. So we are now kind of at the end of that battle, with all of the forces from Nulb wiped out, which means it's going to be another day or two before the people in Nulb figure out, okay, those guys aren't coming back. Something must have happened to them. And the question now is, what do you all want to do with, mainly, what do you want to do with the corpses here? And how do you want to proceed, knowing that when you, as you explored down and around inside the tomb or inside the dungeon, you ran into fairly heavy resistance and somewhat good organization, even if the organization was, well, we're just going to keep throwing people at them until there's too many for them to handle and make them run away, which is kind of what happened to you last time. So, what are your thoughts? I guess the first order of business is, what do we do with all of these bodies here?
How hungry are the gnolls?
Oh, you know gnolls. The gnolls will happily dismember and take the bodies, split them up in chunks that they can carry, and they will suggest one of two courses of action for the overflow, what they cannot deal with. One course of action is to actually take some of the corpses and hang them up in the cottage, kind of like you hang sides of beef to age them. The other course of action is to dig a pit and throw whatever they can't carry with them in the pit and bury it. And they're kind of looking at you guys for guidance. Your mercenary allies, they, when the gnolls start talking about this, the few of them that can understand what the gnolls are saying, they kind of all, get this little bit of a blanched look on their faces, and they kind of move off to another area because it's like, all right, whatever they're going to do, they don't want to be a part of that. So
maybe backing up a step, but did we loot these guys after we defeated them last time? I don't remember if we got all of them or just some of them.
Let's see. Did we loot these guys? That's a good question.
I don't think there's anything in the sheet from last time. Not experience or anything.
Oh, you know what? There might not be.
I don't think there was anything of value. They were just people that came up, and then one tried to get away, and we got rid of him. So if it was going to be anything, it was just weapons and cloaks, right?
Yeah, it's probably going to be just the weapons and cloaks. So where's the T1 through T4?
I didn't know if the leader might have had something a little nicer that he was using.
Yeah, let me get I'll get some idea of the
because we're basically having
you.
Our guys talk to the leader and everything else. Didn't they give up, or was that? Did we kill all the people that came?
Yeah,
we did question some.
Yeah, you did question a few of them, and they told you about. In fact, one of the priests that leads what these people say is the elemental earth cult. One of those priests, which is Harch, and you see his corpse sitting over there.
Right.
He came up. There's that, and then
Also, there is a third option. They could hang them like sides of beef down in the tunnel.
that is true. Okay, so what you get from this is you get some monetary treasure. Where do we go? All right, so we'll just put it in here. Treasure from the last fight. You get some amount of copper, silver, gold, and platinum. Okay. You get 25 copper, 14 silver, 9 gold, 1 platinum, and Harch, the cleric, has a diamond worth 100 gold pieces. So that is what came up from there. And then let's see, in terms of equipment, the equipment of right. I need to go to the map and figure out. Remember what room this guy came from. This guy came from that room. So let's go take a look at what he had. This new laptop is very nice. It's very fast. It's got 32 gigs of RAM, and 1 terabyte solid state drive. So everything runs very quickly on it. But it's a slightly smaller form factor than my other one. So it doesn't have the nice little built-in, 10 key keypad for doing the numbers.
Yeah.
Which I like. So I'll probably have to get an external keyboard for it at some point. But all right, so what does Harch have on him? He has a mace. He has a mace. He has a gold ring worth 25 gold pieces. A gold brooch set with a triangular piece of jet, which is black stone, worth 150 gold pieces. And hidden in his robes, he has a purse that you guys will eventually find, and that has an additional 11 gold and 17 platinum pieces. So let's put that in there. Wait, I think I can do this, can't I? Yes, I can do that.
Quint.
All right.
Brother.
There we go. And then in terms of his
Armament and protection.
I'm sorry?
His armament and protection. So, like, did he have his holy symbol? I think Arcturus was looking for that. Yeah.
The best you can tell, that brooch is probably his holy symbol.
Symbol? Okay.
Yeah. Because you notice that some of the other fighters have a device that looks a little bit like that, kind of like a patch sewn into their cloaks or sewn into their...
Identifiable then.
Yeah. So it seems that that gold field, the black triangle, has some sort of symbolism for these folks. And it's a black triangle with the flat on the top and the point pointing down. So kind of like an upside down pyramid, if you
right,
will.
A balancing pyramid on the top.
Yeah. I'm trying to. It tells me what his armor class is, but it doesn't tell me what kind of armor he's wearing. It's armor class 2. And for the other guy, for some other people down there, it tells me what armor they wear, but it doesn't tell me what armor this guy has. Let me double check and see if I gave him anything on his character sheet. We'll go back here to where you guys are. Okay. class is... Huh.
Well, without
Guess
bonuses, a 2 armor class is plate mail plus shield or field plate.
It's probably going to be... Does he have a shield? He doesn't have a shield, so it must be field plate. Because of course, back in these old adventures, they never bothered to give complete stat blocks with all of the strength, intelligence,
Dexterities.
dex, all that kind of stuff for the
You
monsters.
didn't need that back then.
Yeah. Well, you needed it for your PCs, but you didn't need it for your enemies, for your monsters. So they just didn't bother doing that. All right. So, yeah, we'll just say field plate. Let me put that in there.
And these were all humans, correct?
Yes.
Do we know? Okay, perfect. Didn't know if there was any mixed races in here.
It's his field plate is battered and scuffed, but serviceable.
Gonna buff right out.
Yeah, it's not. It's nothing. As far as armor goes, it's nothing special. It certainly doesn't appear to be masterwork. So it's not armor that you could send or you could take to somebody with the ability and have it enchanted. It's just plain old field plate, which still has a decent amount of value to it.
We'll be able to fashion it onto one of the gnolls. Get them some extra AC on there.
Yeah. Let me see. So, where's... Oh, come on. There we go.
I think we would be better served selling that field plate and then buying the gnolls some chainmail. Because we could outfit more gnolls with chainmail than just one.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Because the field plate, 2,000
Archimedes
pieces, and figure half of that, 1,000. We're going to get, what, 10, 12 gnolls outfitted with chainmail that way?
Or Archimedes could be traveling around with a very well-looking bowl and so that his reputation gets even more put out there. Being protected by a heavily armored gnoll.
God. We don't care about your reputation. We're already gaining reputation as it is.
Well, we are, yes. But the name is to be Archimedes. Will be known throughout the land.
I'll make sure that everybody calls you Archie.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say get him Archimedes a gold-plated, and I forget what instrument he plays.
Oh, he plays them all.
Oh, okay.
But a violin would.
A gold-plated tin whistle.
I'll make whistle. I'll make a nice little whistling sound. Yeah. Make it to be pleasing to the ear.
He has yet to do anything pleasing to the ear.
All All right, so that's so I guess the Knolls will go ahead and they'll kind of take these guys off over here, kind of towards the edge of the area. And then,
so are we going back to the safe house? Is that what's going on?
well,
we're going to go to the knoll. I'm talking to Talon and Quint.
Oh, okay.
Here, so Archimedes
I think initially we were going to go back to town, to Hommlet.
Okay.
Yeah, I think resupply, restock, and
drop off the extended Knolls and mercenaries back at the moat house and go to Hommlet to replenish us. I thought the other thing was we were going to take more of the other stuff and go to either Nolb or somewhere to sell it. We would probably get a better price. And then going through the temple was just a stop off for that.
Yes, you'd have to go to a larger city, something larger than Hommlet or Nulb, to get to a place where you could do that. And I think with our campaign map that we have here, all right, this is going to take a moment to load because it's going to. Yeah, all right, so you guys are more or less over here in this area near the gnarly forest. And so the larger cities that you have, probably the closest large city is going to be a bit to the north, and that's Divers.
Okay.
You would find markets to be able to buy and sell more of the magical treasure and art objects and things like that you want to part with in Divers or Verbabonc or Greyhawk are the three cities that would.
I'd be able to give us, because we started depleting a lot of the thing from the payments from the other people. I think it was only magic user what gave us the credit of the 20,000 for the.
Yes.
So
for that tome.
The tome, wanted. Right? Yeah. So for a lot of the other stuff that he didn't want, that was a higher price, we needed to go somewhere else.
Right. And then you have some of those items that you have stored at your rooms in the Welcome Winch. And there are a couple of things that you really haven't kind of dug into yet to figure out what they do.
Right.
I think it's
that's what we're going back to Hommlet to go do, right? Grab all that stuff, find out, and get rid of whatever we don't need of high value to a larger city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's the gold skull that has freaked out Talon. So I think everybody else was like, okay, if it freaks him out, it might be bad news. Then there's the mirror that is built into that chest. And I think Min put it in her room.
No, it's in Talon's room.
Oh, it's in Talon's room. Okay. And the mirror itself detected as magic, but I don't know if you all ever identified what that is.
Okay.
Because that was a
We
larger...
know it's like a mirror of like a portal type thing, where as long as we can step through it, we can view something, and we can actually step through the mirror and go to that place. And
That's right.
Doorway.
That's right.
Yeah.
You did identify it as a mirror of mental prowess. Okay.
Huh.
Right. And then you have the you guys know about the crystal ball. You know about the wand of wonder. You sold the tome of leadership and influence.
Right.
Then yes, there's another book that is that has detected as magic. And yeah, that one has not yet been, at least to my knowledge, from the notes that I have, I don't think that one has been identified.
Hmm.
I mean, is there anything anybody can think of they'd want to do around the safe house that we're at before we would leave to head back to town? I don't have anything in mind. I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, I'm. As far as I'm concerned, I think it was just stuff still back at Hommlet that we needed to grab to sell.
Well, as I remember, we were just going to leave some of the gnolls here to guard and make sure nobody gets out that's trying to get a message out, and nobody gets in that's trying to help.
Right. Yeah. That's the stump, right? That's the entrance of the tunnel.
Yeah, I believe that's supposed to be the well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, is that what you guys want to do then? Head back to the moat house, and then Hommlet?
And then Hommlet and get whatever we have at in the rooms, so we can take all that stuff to where we're going to go, to Divers? Or are we going to try to go to Nob first and then the Divers?
I don't want to go to Nob without a strong military force behind us.
Okay.
Yeah, we know some of those guys are coming from there, and I don't know about selling stuff that we've gotten from them in that town.
Right.
So, I mean, we could do Verbabonc. I think that's might be a little easier traveling.
Okay.
All right. So you guys make it back to the moat house with your retinue with no issues. You have enough humans and you guys, some of you guys being other humanoids or other demi-humans, as they like to call them in some of the old versions of the game, along with you, that nobody bothers you. And then when you get to within about, you now realize that when you get to within about 2 hours of the moat house, you actually see evidence that the guards from Hommlet that have been at the moat house have been doing some additional patrolling. So they have, there's signs that there's more regular patrols out, away from the moat house. Probably that means there's also in that area some of the gnolls that are patrolling, because they tend to patrol even a wider perimeter. And so you feel relatively confident that it would be very hard for anybody to sneak up on that moat house now, with the number of guards from Hommlet that are sitting there and the number of gnolls that are kind of camped out and using an area in the forest nearby as sort of a base of operations. And then at the moat house, you can decide how you're going to divide up your forces. I presume all the PCs will go back to Hommlet, but how many of these new mercenary recruits do you plan to take with you, or do you plan to leave them there?
I say we leave them at the moat house. I don't think
I would
we're
think we'd want to
expecting
take
to be
the
attacked.
mercenary leader and the other mercenary that was with the cleric, the two top guys, at least from there, so they can identify anybody who's been with the I guess with the temple, or that they've seen. That way we can avoid those people. Or be able to identify them, so we can know who's on our side, who's on nobody's side, and who's on their side.
Exactly.
So I would think to at least those two. We can't take gnolls everywhere, so I think the gnolls would end up having to stay in our, I guess, guarding spots. So we got some gnolls at the...
Are you talking about Hommlet, or are you talking about
moat house?
Deavers? Well, no. Are you talking about going to Hommlet from the moat house, or going to Deavers from the moat house? Because I was thinking we leave them at the moat house while we go to Hommlet, not while we go to Deavers.
Yeah. The going back to Hommlet is just going back to get our stuff that we're going to end up going to a bigger city to sell. And then when we go to the bigger city to sell, we take at least the two mercenary men's leaders or thereof that could help us identify other members of their cult or whatever.
You remember, we can't sell the skull because it's like part of the key.
Right.
And if we sold it somewhere, then it might end up in the wrong hands.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure you remembered that.
But we need to sell like the artworks, the necklaces, the jewelries, ceramic statues,
we got a wagon, we can load it up with everything and head to town.
Right.
Yeah. It's easy enough to get a wagon, or you might even be able to, for not a whole lot of gold, um, by the standards of what you guys have hauled out at this point. And I would say that means like for 50 gold or less, you could probably get uh, get most of some merchant's wagon that is headed to either Verbabonc or Divers or whichever place you want to go, and uh, throw your stuff in there, and of course go along with it, and then that would let you travel along with a bigger group of people, and you'd be able to then uh, figure out what you're doing from there.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that idea. Finding a merchant wagon or somebody, just security and I guess a little less obvious.
Sounds good to me.
Do we need to update the two at Hommlet on our, I guess if you want to call it progress with the temple and what we've learned, so they know what's going on, and if they've got any, I don't know, any way to monitor that stuff besides just the knolls we left there, or
I thought that Pixie was keeping updates with her fairy or
Yeah.
whatever it was.
she went to Knoll to the blacksmith there. I don't know how long it might take the information to get from Knoll to Hommlet.
Yes, that pixie is Argator. Argator is able to fly between the town of Nulb and the safe house within an hour or two. And then there are means of, mechanical means, which is like sending pigeons, or magical means by use of telepathic communication spells that information can get back and forth between Hommlet and the allies that you guys have in Nulb. And that would probably depend on how urgent they think things are. You had, when you tell them about the number of forces down there, that may cause a sense of urgency, because they have already made communications with some of their allies that are part of the Circle of Eight that are based in Greyhawk. And because some of those people that were part of that group were involved in the initial assault on the temple. And so realizing that, those temple dungeons seem to be chock full of defenders now, and that they have probably sent for reinforcements, they would probably want to get the word out about rather quickly. So if you go to Rufus and Burne with that information in Hommlet, that's probably going to cause them to, break out some of their big guns in terms of communicating with allies that are significantly more powerful than you are at this point.
that what we're looking to do? Inform Burne and him, or no? Just looking to get our stuff, right?
Well, I guess that would be up to you
Quint and
guys
Talon.
whether you
Yeah.
whether you want.
That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking, Quentin Talon.
I think we should. I mean, just to keep them informed, and it's a little less hearsay from what they heard from the pixie to whoever till it got to them. That way, it's firsthand account of what we saw, and it might add a little more urgency to what they do. So Archimedes can go to him and sing him a little ditty about what we did and what's down there, and maybe it won't seem so bad that way.
Are we trying to torture these poor fellas?
Well, they did kind of give us, Mission Impossible here.
All right, but I'm stuffing something in my ears if we're going to do that.
Well, we can just send Archimedes and Min, and that should cover it.
All right.
That works for me.
All right. So you guys are able to do that. Okay. So and then that is. Oh, whoops. All right. So you are using the treasure sheet kind of as your guide as in terms of what you all are taking with you.
That's what I'm looking at.
Okay. All right. So it takes you maybe I'm going to say it takes you a total of half a day. So either that could be like all the afternoon of one day, ready to leave in the morning, or you could do a little bit in the evening of one day, a little bit in the morning the next day, and be ready to leave around midday. But you are able to catch on with one of the caravans. And did you guys decide, do you want to go towards Verbabonc or do you want to go towards Divers?
I mean, if we got a choice, I mean, I didn't know if we'd have one, or there just happened to be a merchant caravan going to one. I think Verbabonc might go ahead.
Just join whatever's going to the closest city.
Yeah.
Okay. So heading to Verbabonc. That's good. So let me do this. All right. All right. So as you go along with let's see, it travels basically to the east, and it takes you're going at the rate of a caravan traveling on the road, and these are good roads. And the caravans, of course, are pulled by draft animals. So draft animals are not as fast as riding horses. So they make about 15 miles a day. So you have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 hexes, which means it's like a 12-day journey to Verbabonc. And that, so, you get sightings along the way of, what might be scouts. Like some of you real sharp-eyed folks might see scouts of something like goblins or whatnot, but they see the number of wagons and they see the all of the guards on there and whatnot, and they're like, yeah, it's too big of a caravan, too much of a risk, and they kind of melt back into the brush. And by the time you alert somebody, and by the time anybody runs over and checks it out, the goblins are long gone. So there's no encounters that you have along the way. Now, there are a couple of things that Quint and Arcturus will both notice at various times when you all are at your camps. Quint, you will notice that usually after midnight and only near your camp, nobody else reports anything near their camps, but you will see like the yellow eyes of a what you think is probably a wolf reflecting the firelight from your campfire. And it's kind of always approaching from a direction so that it's not going through any of the other camps to get towards yours. And it never comes terribly close. But it just is kind of there. You don't know if it's the same wolf
Right.
that's following you, or if for whatever reason wolves in the area as you pass are just curious about your camp.
I will leave food out for it, or try and get as close as I can and leave food for it, just to keep them kind of nice with us, and hopefully avoid any trouble with them in the future.
Okay, yeah, you can spot them, and as you go out into the forest, the eyes always kind of disappear before you get too terribly close. And you leave some food and everything, and then in the morning when you check, that food is always gone.
Okay.
And in a couple of instances, when you do that, you do notice like some wolf scat near where you left the food. So
Okay.
you do think that wolves are getting it. They're not interested in perhaps interacting with you, but
Yeah.
And then I don't know that Quint would care to inspect closely enough, or would be able to tell with animal handling from the wolf scat whether it's the same wolf or whether it's different wolves. It's just like,
I don't.
yeah, okay,
so.
that's wolf scat, and it's
Yeah.
like, because he's being a ranger, he can tell. Well, that's bear, that's deer, that's wolf, that's that's
Yeah.
cougar.
Anytime I see the eyes, I'll put some food out. Like I said, just even if it's same one, different ones, just to keep their temperament kind of favorable to, me at least, and again, hopefully keep any trouble with them from becoming a problem.
Okay. All right, and I did just while you guys were chatting there, I did update the I did update the treasure sheet, so now except something seems to have screwed up with. Oh, no, nothing screwed up. It's just that I had an extra bullet there with nothing in it. Okay. So there's XP from last time, and there is the loot from the enemies you fought, as well as the treasure that you got from that fight with those guys that came out of the ground and attacked you.
Right.
So, what's the basically you guys are going to be able to find anyone here in Verbabonc that will sell or will buy the things that you want to sell. So, what are some of the things that you want to divest yourselves of?
I thought Bob was all over that. Come on, Archimedes.
Okay.
I can't pull the treasure and experience sheet up. It's not opening for me.
Oh,
Cool.
let me make sure.
I can refresh roll 20. Let me try that.
Oh, let me.
I got it now. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
I mean, is there, arrows and that we'd want to keep, but I mean, is there really, or we just, go ahead.
Well, there's chest of drawers. It was a short sword with a Tomez pommel. That was 500 gold. Little short sword. The ceremonial daggers and just going through all this other stuff, that the weapons that nobody would use, that have value, that we were looking to sell. And because I think we ran out, let's see, it was all through there. I guess we were keeping all the weapons from the tower and everything else to go to the moat house. And then there, like, you're going to sell all the, well, I think Min took all the bolts of silk.
Yeah, she
took all that.
Okay. And then suit, hooded cloak, brown velvet trimmed with fur, 200 gold. Guys, we needed to have appraised. Small flat silver box needed to be appraised.
Can Talon try and reappraise any of that stuff at this point?
Yeah, sure. It's been a while. So which session are you on?
That was on session 21. I'm just going right
21.
down from there. Yeah, session 21, loot.
Okay.
It was all from the safe house. There was a small flat silver box. There was a jeweled necklace. And then get into the next from the next session out from there. There's 2 wavy blade knives, 2 double pointed knives, 3 center hilted knives, 5 punching daggers. I guess that's some kind of specialty items there, specialty deals. The semicircle of throwing knives and a buckler.
Okay. Oh, yes. Let me see. I heard some. Oh.
Yeah, I rolled for appraise of
Okay.
the silver box and the other thing.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you a question, because this may be important and it may not be important. I don't know that they've implemented the dark and light mode very well in Roll20 yet. Are you guys using dark mode or light mode?
I am using light mode.
I'm using light mode.
Yeah, light mode.
Okay. Because what I realize now, I had been using, but I'm going to change it now on the DM screen. I'm back to light mode. I had been using dark mode, and I need to look at the most recent things. Oh, yes, and that's exactly what happened. With the most recent ones, because I was in dark mode, I changed the color of the text, and when you go to white mode, you can't see.
Okay.
You can't read the text, which that goes back to my point of they did not implement this very well, because that should be one of those things that
To do it itself.
It should automatically, if you view it in dark mode, it should just automatically show you the text in high contrast. If you view it in light mode, it should automatically show you the text in high contrast. But it doesn't. So, all right. There we go. The small box is worth 125 gold pieces. So I'm going back to that. Session. And I am 125 gold pieces. And the jeweled necklace that's inside that silver box, that is 2,400 gold pieces. So I think those are the 2 appraising rolls that he's made so far.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then I will edit, and I will go back to session 21.
Was there something else that needed to be appraised?
I don't think anything else needed to be appraised as of yet, but we're going to go ahead and get rid of all that, right? Those 2 items.
Yeah, I think if somebody would have wanted that stuff, they would have spoke up by now.
I agree.
Okay.
Then there's session, was that 22, 23? Session 22-23, we get down to the treasure. You're looking at 2 earrings, each worth 400 gold, jeweled belt, 3,200. There was a velvet belt that had pieces of jewelry in it.
Yeah. And it's got the value for those things.
Yeah. And like the jade cup. We were going to sell like things of that nature to get the value out of it, put it into the castle treasure or whatever, so that we have money to pay the mercenaries for the month or the year and what have you. And we could use the gems and stuff like that also to pay off, I guess, the rebuilding of the moat house to all the merchants and masons and such, carpenters.
Yep. Yeah, and then you have that unknown tome.
And then an unknown tome.
Which does radiate magic. So let me go ahead and put that in there. You know that much, but you don't know what it does.
It does.
Okay, and then I guess yes, we did identify that mirror. It's the mirror of mental prowess.
Right. We can sell the small ceramic statuette, the frog eating the insect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that wizard just had a bunch of loot, or a bunch of very valuable loot.
Nobody wanted the little statuette of Loth, so we could sell that. I don't know if it's going to sell, but
somebody wanted to destroy it, and I'm like, no, it's art. We need to sell it, not destroy it.
Right.
Yeah, it was the paladin, predictably, wanted to destroy it. And it's like, oh, hey, look at this shiny over here. Whoop, we're just going to hide that. And then, yeah, so all those spell books. Let's see.
Seems to me we showed that tome to the guy in Hommlet, the wizard, and
right, Burne.
Yeah, Burne. There was something about it he didn't like. So,
yeah,
am I misremembering?
Yeah.
No, he was like, "Oh, that radiates magic," but he got a bad feeling about it.
Or silver plates from the harpies from session 26-27. 30 gold pieces each.
Okay.
And you had put a little footnote in there in session 25 about the treasures. The max additional 26,000. Be considering all the op charges. So.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. There was 25,000 for the
from the tome.
And then because we had that discussion that with all of the art objects except for the statuette of Lolth, Rufus and Burne would buy those at 75% of book value.
Mm.
Whereas if you went to a city and tried to sell them, they would
Right.
be worth
That's
50%.
that's what we're trying to do. Right.
So that you could get 26,302 gold and 5 silver from Rufus and Burne if you sell it all to them and that just is all the art objects. So
And I believe we did that.
okay, all right.
I
But
think that was already been a done deal. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
It was
then-
like the Statue of Loth went in to sell maybe a few other things, but
yeah. So all
I
that
think
other
we were ready to do that, but then somebody wasn't sure about something or other, so I thought we kind of put a hold on that, but
Okay.
never got back to it.
If you guys say that you want to do that, then we can just say that you've done that, and we'll figure out what that works out to be. That works out to be. Let's see. Okay, that's an additional 5,260 gold and 4 silver per party member. So that means it's 52, 60, and 9 silver each. So let me do that. Works out to 50 to 60 gold pieces. So each PC. Okay. Okay. So that's updated there in session 25. All right. So now I guess it's just the Statue of Lolth and anything else you want to take to get rid of. I believe that Min has the Javelin of Lightning.
Yeah.
He's hanging on to. That's a little bit more recent thing that you guys got. And let's take a look at.
We can throw the gold ring, the 25 gold from Arsh, and the treasure that we're selling, the jewelry.
Okay, yes.
A large gold cup worth 450 from session 26, 27. I don't know if I already said that or not. I said the 4 silver plates already, and then right underneath that, there's a large gold cup worth 450. That's part of treasure, so you can get rid of that.
Yeah, that statuette of Lolth. Did we put a price on that?
Yes, it was priceless. I don't think so. I think it was just a
Okay.
just as an item.
Yeah, let me verify where that came from. Oh, yes. Okay. Came from that. All right. So that treasure. Let's see. Stone ball. Where did that go? Nine ones. You cannot search within this thing, which I really am annoyed about. Okay. I think that's from session 22 and 23.
Be.
That's where I think it's from. And that is a all right. Okay, so we're gonna put this here. Statuette. Oh, well, that you've had time to determine
As far as
is
praise and
worth,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, is worth
Okay.
6,000 gold pieces. So yeah, that's why. I mean, Talon could look at it and go, "Yeah, that's valuable," but he
Reason I didn't want to just destroy it.
right. Okay.
Yeah, Arcturus.
There's that. Okay. Yeah, the frog statuette. That's that ceramic frog statuette. That's
Mhm.
worth. It's not worth a whole lot, but
Oh, okay.
I saw that right here. That one is worth 50 gold pieces. Okay. Yep. All right. Good. So if you sell the,
Those wares.
I'm sorry.
If we sell those wares.
Yeah.
Or those treasures.
Those will bring you 50% of their value. And then did you want to try to find somebody here that would identify that other tome for you?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So let's take a look at that. Normally, you find all of the shops and everything in two areas. You find it in the foreign quarter of Verbabonc City or the business quarter. But as you start showing around some of the more expensive items, they will actually direct you to the high quarter. And there are some city guards who will, there's a captain of the city guard that will escort you there, because normally if you are not a resident or you do not have specific business, like an invitation or some sort of business card indicating that you are going to see a specific noble in the high quarter, they typically don't like foreigners going there. But after asking around and whatnot, and they realize, oh, okay, you guys are some adventurers with some seriously nice stuff, they make some inquiries, and you get an opportunity to go to the high quarter of Verbabonc City. And the
See, Casca, I told you to wear your nice clothes.
yes, and the place where you are invited is you're invited to Sarcina Manor. And Sarcina Manor is looks like a small fortress. It's a manor house here, and clearly it is the house of somebody very, very wealthy. And there are 20-foot high walls around this compound, and there are several 30-foot tall towers. And you can see on top of the towers there are a couple of guards each, and the walls actually are wide enough that there are walkways atop the walls, and you see some people in the house livery, some guards in the house livery atop the walls. And there is a large gate. And as you approach, it's daytime, so the gates are open, but there are two guards standing at each side of the gate. And as the city watch captain brings you up, he says that these gentlemen have some items that might be of interest to Lady Sarcina. And the person who seems to be in charge of the gate guards says, well, may I see them? And the city guard indicates that you should, show them what you have. So do you want to show this guy?
Give him a quick peek.
Okay. He looks at he sees part of the ebony statue of Lolth, and his eyes kind of go wide. And he sees the book, and the guard captain assures him that it has been verified as being magical. And so the gate captain says, let me send a message inside. And he turns and talks to a young junior officer, and that young man rushes up this long garden path, which you see there are wide manicured gardens on both sides of this gravel path leading up to the house. And the main house is sits about 100 feet in from this wall, and it's a big, huge 3-story thing. And it looks to be built like a stylized keep of some sort. You think that the outer walls of this place are defensive in nature, but you think that the main house, its stylized look like a keep, is probably for decoration only. And because instead of having some kind of like defensive portcullis or something there's very ornately carved doors that are on the front of the house. And the officer runs up, or the junior officer runs up, and as he starts to mount the steps, a person wearing white gloves reaches out and opens the door and pushes it open for him to run into the house, and then closes the door behind him. And so it's not too long before he comes back, and he whispers something to the gate captain, and the gate captain turns to you and smiles and says, "Very well. Lady Katherine has said that she will speak to you. So, if you will please follow me." He names off a couple of guys, and so himself, he leads you in front, and 2 other guards fall in beside you. 2 of the house guards fall in beside you as he leads you towards the house. And you look to either side, and you see these gardens. They're all in bloom, gorgeous, gorgeous gardens with all kinds of manicured flowers and hedges and those types of things. And you come into the main hall, and it's a wide hall with columns that are in marble, and there is a balcony kind of on the second floor. And this main hall, you can see, goes all the way up to the 3rd story, to the vaulted ceiling above the 3rd story. So there's 2 levels of balconies above you. And at the middle of this great hall, there is a huge chandelier, and the chandelier hangs on chains from the very top of the roof of the 3rd story. And the chain that it's hanging from looks like it is probably plated in gold. It would not be practical to make a load-bearing chain out of gold itself, since it's such a small metal, or such a soft metal, but it does appear to be golden. And all of the fixtures of the candles of this chandelier are gold as well. And it looks like there are probably 4 tiers of candles on the chandelier, and the largest tier probably has 40 or 50 candles on it, and then each circle inside that is set up a little bit higher and has a little bit fewer. But you think the inner circle probably has about 20 candles. So it's a really fancy looking place. And on the back of this main hall, there are 2 kind of mirrored long spiral staircases that climb up these curving walls toward the second and then up to the third floor. And as you approach, a very elegantly dressed woman in a flowing gown that has probably 6 or 7 different layers of ruffles is making her way down the left-hand staircase as you approach, and the gate captain gives a little signal, and then he comes to a stop. And then, as you know, he waits there, and as the lady comes down, when she steps her foot on the same level that he's on, he bows rigidly at the waist, and he bows all the way until his torso is parallel with the floor. And he just holds the hilt of his sword as he bows, and he says, "Lady Katherine, I bring the travelers that have the items that you wish to see." And she says, "Oh, that's very good. Thank you so much, Captain. Uh, you can go ahead back to your post." Um, and then she looks at you all and she says, "Welcome to my humble home. I am Lady Katherine Sarcina. Would you care to join me out on the veranda?" And she starts to move towards the back of this area, and you can see there are uh, large, wide windows that seem to run from floor to ceiling, with like columns that are supporting the weight of the upper floors, and they look like just big, wide windows that are divided into little square lights with decorative silver frames for those windows. But then you can see as she goes towards the center, actually, 2 of the center windows are actually doors that open up onto a large paved patio. And you notice that now there are a couple of servants, and these servants are bearing trays, and one servant has a tray that has some finger food on it. The other servant has a tray that has a couple of pitchers and some glasses on it. And Lady Catherine goes out to this patio, and you see a large round table. It's probably about 12 feet in diameter, and it's got several chairs around it. And she goes over, and a servant comes from the edge of the house and goes over and gets her chair and pulls it out for her. And she sort of, gets her dress all kind of bunched up, and then the servant helps her into her seat, and she sits down, and then she points to several of the chairs on either side of her so that you guys can have a seat. And she says, "Well, my, now, I understand you have some very interesting items that you have brought today. May I see them, please?"
Show them to her.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to show her the statue of Lolth, and also what are the other items that you're showing her?
Archie.
The gold cup and the statuette
Okay.
with the frog and the.
Okay. She looks at those and she says, "Oh my, a statuette of love. Now that is not something that you see every day. Now may I ask, where did you acquire this?"
Eska?
We found it in a hole in the ground.
And she gives you a look and a little smirk. A little smirk comes to her face, and she says, "Well, a very nicely appointed hole, I would think, if it had something like this in there. Um, let me guess, its former owner did not need it anymore."
We relieved him of it after his expulsion.
Oh, well. And I'm sure that he started some trouble with you that he couldn't finish.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
You finished it for him.
Yes, he talking very rudely to my patriots here.
Oh, so you all are adventurers.
Of a sort, yes.
Let me ask you. I will tell you, I am very interested in that. I collect curios of all kinds of deities. I have a room in my basement that is set up as a sort of a museum, if you will, for the artistic displays of many different deities. Some of the noble and finer deities of light, some of the neutral deities of the aspects of nature, and some, like Lady Loth herself, some of the very naughty deities indeed.
Very well met.
Yes. And she, let me see, Archimedes. What does Archimedes have on him at this point? Does he have any musical instruments on him or anything like that? Any obvious musical instruments or
Obvious. No, yeah, I wouldn't be carrying my violin right at the moment, but I would be carrying my little flute and these right here.
But the flute would be like in a case in your pack or something like that. It wouldn't be like on your hip or.
No, yeah, it would be tucked away. I wouldn't be
Okay, all right.
wearing it out in the open.
And she says, "And what other items do you have? Oh, this gold cup. This looks lovely. Was this from the same?" She looks at Casca, or she looks at Talon and says, "This is from the same hole where you found that lovely piece."
Forgive my friend, he's a little shy.
Well, that's to be expected. I have been told I have that effect on some gentlemen.
Yes, he might still be in awe.
And then this cute little frog. Oh, that is just adorable. I know a friend of mine, Mr. Horace. Oh, I think Horace would probably love this little frog. Um, it's just the cutest little thing, and look at that little fly that it is. It is devouring. Tell me, how long are you gentlemen in Verbabonc? You planning to stay here for a while?
Think for a day or two at the most.
Oh, well, if you would like a chance to tell some stories about this lovely statue uh, that you have brought today, uh, I would be interested in inviting you to a party that I am throwing in 5 nights' time. Some of the best and brightest in all of Verbabonc will be there, and I just love to show off this new piece from my collection.
I would be honored to attend.
Yeah,
The
that would
others
be.
are got their mouths full.
Yeah, Quint's not really a ballroom type guy, so I think maybe he'll pass.
Okay. And she examines uh the statuette very carefully. And let me see here.
Did you show her the tome? Or are we going to show the tome to somebody else?
I thought we were showing her everything.
Might as well.
Let me take a look here at something on character sheet. Do. Ah, there we go. All right, that's what I wanted to look at. Okay, yes. Talon, you can see that she is giving a look at this statue of Lulth with an experienced appraiser's eye. And you don't know how good her appraisal skills are, but you can tell that she is examining it just the same way you would examine something to verify, things like authenticity, what it's, what kind of material it's made from, those types of things. She turns it, she looks at it in the light from different angles. She pulls out a dainty little um, a glass that looks kind of like a monocle. And she holds that in front of her eyes and she just very closely inspects the statuette and everything. And then after a couple of minutes of doing that, she nods and she looks at you and she says, "Well, I think this piece here would be worth around 2,500 gold to me. Does that sound like a fair price to you all?"
Absolutely.
Well, that's splendid. That's splendid. And Talon, you can see a little smile.
Is it worth
Touches
more?
her. touches her lips. Well, Talon appraised it at
Yeah, so I have no
6,000.
idea.
Yeah, Talon appraised it at 6,000, and so he would be expecting to get 3,000 for it. Clearly, she offered you less than what she thought it was worth.
I didn't appraise it, so I don't know. So I just
Okay,
gave
yeah.
because
I would have
I'm
shared the
mesmerized by
information with you.
Yeah. So, yeah. I figure if it's on the character sheet or if it's on the treasure sheet, all of you guys would know. So,
Yeah.
you would know it's worth 3,000. So she offers 2,500.
5.
Are you guys?
I'm not going to go
happy
for
with-
any kind of I'm not going to go for any kind of negotiations. I'm taking what everybody gives. So if you guys want to-
what about Quint and Talon? Do you want to try to hold out to get more, or 2,500 good with you guys too?
I'm fine with the 2,500. I honestly would rather get something out of it than.
Okay.
It's just doing all that negotiation stuff. Just get on with it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I defer to Quint or Talon, and it's his area of expertise.
Okay. And she will offer you another 100 for both the gold cup and the statuette together. So basically a total of 2,600 that she'll offer you for all of those pieces. And then she takes a look at the book, and you all can make me let's see, you all can make me a let's see, wizard. What is y'all can make me an intelligence check with a -2 unless you have the spellcraft non-weapon proficiency.
Efficiency of
if you have spellcraft, you can make that check. If you don't, make an intelligence check at -2.
Really?
Ain't got no intelligence.
Yeah, actually, you have a pretty good intelligence. Both Archimedes and Talon have a pretty good intelligence, but they fail. Quint, however, even though he's probably more of a wisdom guy than an intelligence guy, he does notice. You realize that she very, very subtly, she casts a spell when she examines this tome. It's not a spell that's directed at you or your companions. It's a spell that's directed at the book. And she looks at that and she says, "Oh, this is magical. My, I declare." And then she begins to look at it, and her brow furrows, and then she looks at you all for a long time, just very studies each of you she doesn't say anything. And it's like she's trying to read what's in your faces as she is looking at this. And she says, "Well, I sense you brought this to me because you know it's magical. But I can't tell whether you all know what this is or not. Pray tell me, have you been able to identify this book?"
I'm looking at both of them. And I say, know of its nature, but not what it actually is.
Well, I'm going to tell you that you all are very fortunate that you did not open this book. And I myself am not going to open it. But let's just say that there is someone that I know in this town that I might be very interested in gifting this book to. And she gives the three of you a smile. And this time, the smile is kind of a predatory one, where it's sort of like you're now kind of co-conspirators with her, or at least she's seeing you all as co-conspirators. She says, and she pats the book tenderly. She says, "Yes, this would be a wonderful gift for someone who has been a dear, dear friend." And the way she says that, it's like, yeah, okay, maybe that's the kind of friend you are not always happy to see. And she says, as adventurers, I'm sure you all are knowledgeable or accustomed to keeping your sort of trade secrets, if you will. Are you not?
Absolutely. Discretion is for my character.
Well, then in that case, I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a lesson so that if you ever run across one of these again, you can save yourself some potential headaches. Now, do you see these marks here on the spine of the book? And she turns it around so that you can see the spine. And she points out two little sort of innocuous looking marks. One near what would be the top of the spine and one near the middle of the spine. Now these are the marks of a glyph that, if I do not miss my guess, This glyph is probably inscribed on the inside front cover of this book. And let's just say that were you to open this book and begin trying to read it, well, the magic of that glyph, it might try to eat away some of the power of your mind.
Wow.
Yes, quite a nasty little surprise. It is called a vacuous grimoire. And it's often put alongside other magical books like spell books with wizards. That wizards use it as sort of a trap against people that would break into their stores and try to take their valued spell books. So,
Given to somebody to read, and they, unbeknownst to them, open up the book to read it and devour their brain.
exactly. Exactly.
Talon's just giggling evilly. She's talking about this.
Talon doesn't want to get rid of it now, does he?
It just became a lot more precious to him, yes.
Well, I will offer you 8,000 gold pieces for this fine work of literature.
Sold.
That's wonderful. I will have it sent as a gift in the morning.
Ooh. Hope we don't get it.
Perhaps if you all stay for that party in a few days, I wonder if you'll be able to tell who received the gift.
Like the both of them, I don't think that we have the expenditure time. We must be returning to our.
I think we could stay for the party.
Right. Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right. So, now, Lady Lady Katherine does not offer you, rooms at her house, but she does recommend
Place to stay.
a place to stay here in the High Quarter.
Ooh.
And she will give you a letter of introduction to the proprietor, because it is a place that caters to the wealthy and the nobility. And
Nice.
since you all are not recognized nobility yourselves, in order to even get in and be allowed to purchase lodgings there, you need an introduction from someone who is a noble. And let's see. So, this is this place is called the Regal Jewel. Okay, so the Regal jewel. Fancy in Verbabonc. And she gives you in the form of payment. She drafts 3 different slips that are on that are written out on notes for the Bank of Verbabonc. And you actually discover that this regal jewel sits on one side of a square, and on another side of the square is actually the Royal Furandian Mint. And that is the bank that it is written on. So you can, she assures you that the money is available in the account there, and that if you do banking anywhere in Furandi or in the major cities in this part of the world, including Greyhawk or Diverse or some of the other cities, that you will find branches of the Royal Furandian Mint. And if you do not already have accounts there, you can put this gold into your account, and then you can draw it from that at any of the branches that you go to. So,
Just gave us a traveler's check.
it's
Yeah.
basically like giving you a cashier's check.
Cashier's check. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So one is for the value of the statuette, one is for the value of the Grimoire, and one is for the value of the cup and the little frog.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you get to this Royal Jewel Inn, you are offered, you are shown right in as soon as you show the letter of introduction from Lady Katherine. And everybody who works here is dressed in this green livery. So it's like green velvet coats and kind of a dark hunter green on the coat, and then sort of a pale green trousers and patent leather shiny black shoes with silver buckles on them. They all have hats that appear to be made of silk, and they are all wearing gloves that are white silk gloves. And so this is like a super fancy place, and all ornate carved marble inside the place and whatnot. And there are indoor fountains when you get here in the lobby of this place. And as you go up to the main desk, there is a person there who is, standing behind this big marble counter and greets you. And they tell you that their name is, it's a human. They tell you that their name is, whoops. It's a gentleman, and his name is Cornell. And he says, "Welcome to the Royal Jewel." And so Cornell, desk clerk. at the Royal Jewel. And the he says, "Welcome to the Royal Jewel. Would you like individual rooms, or would you like individual suites?"
Sweet.
What are the costs? I'm a little concerned.
The individual rooms are 25 gold pieces per night. You will find that each of the rooms has several bottles of wine and has a silken rope that you can call for someone from the kitchen to come and take an order, so that if you wish, you can dine in the room itself. The suites are 75 gold pieces a night each, and these each come with a live-in maid or butler that will also tend the bar within your suite. Pour drinks, fetch food, the other kind of services. It is nothing less than what our noble guests expect here at the Royal Jewel. And mind you, you guys just got several thousand gold, so it's not like you can't afford it. But it is exorbitant compared to anything you have ever heard of before.
True. The views have got to be great, right?
Oh, the views are impeccable. We have our own private pond and gardens. The suites on the top floor overlook those, and they even have some one-way privacy screens. So they are designed. The fabric of those is designed in such a way that you can see out into the gardens, but anybody in the gardens cannot see into your chambers. We spare no expense here.
As well, you shouldn't.
Now, each floor does have several private and semi-private dining rooms, if you wish, or in the back of the main floor here, behind the lobby, we do have well, we do not like to use the word common, because there's nothing common about the Royal Jewel. There is a community dining area. There is a large bar stocked with the finest spirits, wines, ales, and beers from all across the continent and beyond. There is entertainment. We have a house orchestra that consists of 24 of the finest bards in Verbabonc. They perform 3 times each evening. And on occasion we will have traveling bards, but sadly, none of those are scheduled for this evening's performance.
He's a bard.
Oh, you are
Yes.
you are a musician? It says to
Quite
Archimedes.
accomplished.
Oh,
musician.
what is your instrument? What do you play?
Fancy the violin. It very well.
It's violin.
My talents
Well.
are exposed to more than just that.
Oh, well, wonderful. Well, I will. He looks at a cabinet, and you can see that this cabinet is a tall, narrow cabinet. And some of you may not have ever seen a device like this before, but it's about 7 feet tall, and it's at the widest point about a foot wide. It's made of wood, and at the top, it has a white round disc. And this round disc has 12 symbols around it. And it's got two little ornate pointed, like almost like pointed arrows that are affixed in the center of this disc. And below the disc, inside the cabinet, there is a large pendulum that is swinging back and forth, and it's making a ticking sound as it swings. And there are a couple of weights that appear to be somehow part of this mechanism, although it's not readily apparent how it is. And he looks at that and he says, well, sir, if you would like to see about performing with the orchestra this evening, Lady Sybil, who is the primary chair of the orchestra, she will be here to begin setting up in about 3 hours. If you wish to speak with her, she will listen to some of your music and decide whether or not you would blend in with the orchestra, or whether they might be able to perform with you.
Nice.
Wonderful. All right. And so yes. So you guys are. It looks like Bob is interested in getting a suite for himself. What about the?
Just for himself? I was going to see how many of the suite slept.
Oh. If
This can get a room.
do you ask that, Talon? Do you ask how many the suite will sleep?
Sure.
Okay. When you do, Cornell looks a little bit taken aback and says, "Oh well, the suites are designed for an individual guest. Of course, if it is a lord and his lady, or a lady and her paramour, then we would of course want them to stay together. But we understand the needs of our clientele. That sometimes the room just simply is too claustrophobic. Some of our guests require a suite to themselves.
I will take a room.
Oh, very well, sir. And
Quint-
for you,
Quint will take a room by himself as well.
okay. Would you all like to be on the same floor, the same wing?
Yes.
Sure.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, and then he picks up a little silver bell and he tinkles it. He says, "Do you have any trunks or um, additional baggage that you need taken up to your rooms?"
Just
No,
these two
but
guys.
I, I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
Do the rooms come with a bath? A bathing area?
Yes. In
Oh.
fact, they do. The rooms each have a private area with copper tubs. The suites come with a bathing area that has running water indoors. Quite the rage.
Hmm.
But yes, you can have a bath in your room or in your suite, sir. He says to Archimedes.
Can I go ahead and request the hot water now?
Oh, certainly. I will make sure that that they begin preparing it and bring it up shortly. And he picks up a little bronze bell and he tinkles that. And another person comes from another way and he gives that person instructions to get hot water ready and take it to the room 418. And you find that you all are on the fourth floor. Talon, you are assigned room 418. Quint, you are assigned room 419. And Archimedes, you get suite 422.
Nice.
And you get up to the room.
I'm going to give Cornell a gold piece as a gratuity.
He looks at that and he says, "Oh, well, thank you." And make a what kind of check would this be? This would be maybe a make a street sense check, and if you don't have street sense, you can just make a charisma check.
I'm not particularly a charismatic person.
Yeah. Okay. You catch kind of an odd expression on his face, but you're not quite sure what that's all about.
He was offended.
Maybe I didn't give him enough. I don't know.
Yeah, one gold piece. That's like to the underlings. Got to give the maitre d like a $5 or a $10.
So as you guys get up to the rooms, you you are escorted by 3 hotel employees, one for each one of you. And they offer to carry your packs for you. Um, and it's clear from, when they see you, it's clear that you're not generally dressed like the normal clientele that comes here. And as you get a peek at some of the people, you notice some people walking that are not in the hotel livery. Everybody looks like they are dressed for a ball at a count or a duke or perhaps a king's palace. It's like the normal clientele here are, probably all have titles. And many of them probably have titles as long as your arm.
I just want to know what the person in charge of this hotel did to make that woman mad to send us here.
And so they take you up to the rooms, and they will open the doors for you. And Talon, when you see the room, you kind of wonder if maybe they made a mistake, because the room stretches out in front of you about 40 feet. And it's about 30 feet wide. And there is an area on one side that indeed seems to be some kind of dry bar. There is a very ornate mahogany desk with several gilded chairs. There's a table that has more gilded chairs around it. There is a chandelier in the center of the room that has no fewer than 50 candles in it. There is a canopied bed that could probably comfortably sleep about 5 humans, much less, halflings. You could get like the whole clan in there, and nobody would touch each other.
I knew I could have slept in the closet in the suite.
And Quint, your room is equally lavish. And Archimedes, well, when they open the door, you see that in the initial area is a little bit smaller than the other 2 rooms, but you see that this initial area is actually kind of like a foyer to the suite. And there is, in fact, a butler that is in this, and he stands up and he gives you a bow, the same kind of bow that the gate guard gave to the
Catherine.
lady at her house. Yes, and he acknowledges the other the other employee, and then he turns to you and he says, "Hello, Your Grace. I am Theodoric. I will be your humble servant while you stay." Butler for Archimedes. And he says, "Please allow me to show you your accommodations."
Yes, I'd like to see that.
And there are 4 doors that lead off of this area. 3 of the doors are very fancy and gilded. The 4th is rather plain. The plain door is to your right, and then a little bit farther in is one of the fancy doors on the right. And then in the middle of the left wall is a fancy door, and in the middle of the far wall from as you enter this area are a set of double doors that are extremely fancy. And he first points your attention to the fancy door on the left, and he says, "This is your bathhouse." And he opens the door, and you can see, even though this is on the 4th floor of this establishment, the floor here is made of flagstones. So it's like a very heavy stone floor. And there is a ceramic bathing vessel that there's a ceramic bathing vessel that is over on one side, and it's probably large enough for 3 people to be in there taking a bath at the same time. And indeed, you see that there are fancy gilded pipes that that come both from above and from below, and go to like little valves at one end of this bathing vessel. He says, "I can draw your bath for you when you are ready." And then there are a couple of benches in this area, and you can see there are all kinds of towels. And then there's a whole cabinet that has all kinds of scented soaps. And then there's another area that has some incense and some oils and some things like that that are in here. He says, uh, whenever you require, I will prepare your bath for you. And if you have a need of any type of bathing implement that we do not have already in the suite, just let me know and I will get it for you. And
Perfect.
so then he indicates the plain door on the right, and he says, "Do not trouble yourself with this. My cot is in there. Just where I take my rest after I have seen to all of your needs." And then the other door on the right, he says, "This is your receiving room where you can receive any guests." And he opens it up, and it is a room that is every bit as large as the rooms that both Talon and Quint had, but it doesn't have a bed in it. There are some sofas, some tables, some very plush chairs. There are several cabinets. One cabinet looks like it is a humidor of sorts. It has all kinds of cigars and several very ornate pipes. There is a bar over in one part of the area, complete with several bar stools. And Theodric says that he will get any drinks for you and any guests that you entertain here while you have your stay. And of course, if there is anything that you need that is not already in the bar, he will be happy to fetch it for you from the main hotel stores. There's also a full dining area in here, and the table looks like it could probably seat about 12 people. And it has candlesticks that are, of course, all gilded. And there's a cabinet where you can see all of the flatware and the plates, and those plates all have gilded edges around them. They're bone china with gilding around the edges of the plates and the cups and the saucers, and then of course you imagine the um, silverware must be around there somewhere. And then he takes you through the double doors at the far end of this space, and that opens up into the bedchamber. And the bedchamber is probably about half again as large as the bedchamber that Quint and Talon each have. And the canopied bed in here is truly massive. The posts of the canopy bed in here look like they are made out of beaten gold, and the everything, all the upholstery on the furniture in here is all made of silk. And the carpet in here also looks like it's made of silk. And there are large, fluffy pillows that are on the bed as well as on some of the other furnishings in here. And, he points out in each of these rooms that he has taken you to, there are these wide silken ribbons that you can pull on that will either summon him or will summon somebody from the kitchen if you decide that you would rather speak with somebody. And he says that at any point during your stay, if his service does not satisfy, you can let him know, and he will go ask the manager to appoint someone else to be your valet for the rest of your stay. So, and that's all said just, matter of factly, as though they are used to dealing with people that, for whatever reason, just decide this person isn't good enough. I want somebody different.
I demand higher quality. Yes.
Yes.
No.
So yes, this is kind of how the nobility spend their vacations in Verbabonc, apparently.
Normal vacation for me, for Archimedes. Yeah.
All right. So, is there anything you guys want to do between now and the time that Lady Catherine's party comes around?
I'll probably want to buy some more healing potions, or going and seeing what I can find as healing potions. 'Cause it's 5 days away, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll look for a place to go, some more of those, and arrows.
Okay. I believe.
Did Talon need to get his arrows picked out, or did we already know what those are? Was that Quint had some arrows that we didn't know what were what?
Yeah, we got those identified.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Yeah, all right. No. What is this?
Talon uses a sling, so he has bullets.
Maybe you can find some special bullets. Personal.
So I always forget in this edition, every magic item has it's got an XP value and not a gold piece value. And I know there's like a translation somewhere.
Talon wants to get a nice set of clothes so he doesn't look out of place.
Oh, okay. Well, if you go to the concierge at the Royal Jewel, they will tell you that they can have a tailor come to your room to do measurements if you wish, and that they will, then they can bring you items to try on.
That would be great.
Okay. All right. They will send somebody. They will send somebody up to that. Did we price? I want to say, did we have like a magic item pricing in this server? We have a custom item price list. Okay, that's not. All right. Let me do this. Okay. Okay. Yeah. You. There we go. There we go. That's right. Since second edition is pretty much derivative of first edition, the prices for magic, and I'm looking at somebody said they wanted to buy potions. All right, there we go. There we go. So potions. Potions. Oh boy, those are expensive. You think of inflation, but actually in D&D terms, potions have gotten cheaper. So, do you want a garden variety healing potion? Do you want extra healing potion? What would you like to try to buy?
Let's see what both cost.
Okay. A potion of healing, the 2d4 plus 2 variety, will cost you 400 gold. And the potion of extra healing will cost you 800 gold.
We'll save that back for Hommlet.
Yeah, because basically potions are twice the XP value in price. is essentially what they are. That's what most of them are.
Okay.
What about a bag of holding?
Bag of holding. Bag of holding. Oh boy. Yeah. Really reverse inflation. Remember how when the first VHS video cassette players came out, they cost like $1,500, and then like 10 years later, you get them for like $50. That's kind of the same way in this edition of D&D. Take a look at the bag of holding. Want to say that's probably going to be around 10,000 gold. Let's see. Yes, bag of holding. Yes, it's 10,000 gold.
Well, Talon is staying in a target-rich environment right now.
Yes, there are quite a few fancy items that are here.
I was thinking quite a few fat purses that might be here.
Oh, those two.
Mm-hmm.
Those two. Okay. Quint. On the second day that you are at this hotel, you are disturbed by a noise outside the door of your room.
Do I any idea what the noise is, or it just
It sounds like voices. Sounds like voices raised in anger.
I will I'll walk over and I'll crack the door and try and hear what's going on a little better.
You see a man and a woman. Both are humans. They're probably in their 60s, so they're both older, and they are standing at the door of another room. It's a few doors down from yours on the other side of the corridor. And there are two hotel liveried people standing outside their door with large platters. And the woman of the couple says, "Absolutely not. That is not prepared to my specifications. I want you to take that back and do it right next time." And then she takes her hand and she just slaps the tray out of one of the hotel servant's hands. And the plates on there just go clattering to the floor. And the man sort of pulls the woman back a little bit, and then he looks at the two servants and says, "You clumsy oafs! You see what you did? Now, clean this up, and I expect that the manager will be giving us our day's rate for free. Now, don't come back until you have this right." And then he slams the door in the face of the two.
Okay.
See, that's how you get stuff for free.
I'm a ranger. The ways of people are a mystery to me.
Yes. I mean, this is by far the fanciest place you have ever spent a night.
Quint would probably be sleeping out on the balcony if they have one.
There is a balcony. It's a wide balcony, and
Put two chairs together.
actually you don't have to. There is a kind of a long
Like a lounge. Yeah.
lounge chair that is articulated in such a way that you can either lay it flat, or you can raise one end or the other end a little bit, so you can kind of sleep at any angle that you want to.
How far are the balconies apart?
Each of the balconies for the individual rooms, like you and Quint have, each of the balconies is about 30 feet apart. And there is a little screen you can tell from your balcony, Talon, that you can see out either side of your balcony. But when you look at the screen on the end of the other balcony, it looks opaque. You cannot see in there. And you figure that all of these must be that way, that you can see out, but you can't see into another guest's balcony.
By the way, how much did it cost me for a suit of clothes?
Oh, suit of clothes. Let us see.
$5.
I think actually there's. I think that's in the equipment. Money and equipment. So where's the equipment lists? Oh no, it must be. Oh, that's because I'm looking at the wrong damn book. Okay, you can get. They will want to outfit you like a, like a noble. So they will offer to make you a silk jacket, a cloak of fine fur, some silk gloves, some breeches that are also of silk, a vest that is made of silk, and a nice belt that is a polished leather belt with some gold accents on it. And they will offer to make all of that for you for the low price of 200 gold pieces, delivered in 6 hours from the time you order, tailored to your exact size. Now that's what they offer you. Now, if you don't want all that silk, if you want something else, then that would obviously change the pricing and things. But that's up to you.
Yeah, I was thinking like a good linen suit, or something that looked nice but didn't look like a king. I don't need that.
And the person says, "Oh, linen. Well, I don't often work with linen, but I can, and for a fine outfit. Now, would you want the cloak to be fur, or did you want that to be a cloth cloak instead?"
I'm sure my cloak's just fine.
Oh, okay.
I'll just make sure it's cleaned.
And he takes a look at your cloak and he says, "Well, I could. It does look threadbare in a few places. I could mend that for you if you would like."
As long as you can do it here, that does not get out of my sight.
You're talking about your cloak of elven kind.
Yes.
Okay, he's talking about your like cloak
They're
that
common.
kind of the common cloak that kind of goes, that would be kind of the overcloak that you might wear for other things, because he's looking at that one on the.
You mean like a winter cloak? Maybe
Yeah,
I need fur.
Yeah, he's not.
I'll take
Go
a
ahead.
fur cloak to go underneath my cloak of elven kind.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then with the fur cloak and everything else being linen instead of 200 gold, it will knock that down considerably to about 75 gold.
That works.
Okay. And they are good as their word. Within 6 hours, they deliver that to you, and boy, it is cloth, but it is like the softest and smoothest linen cloth you have ever felt. It is, there's not any roughness to it at all. It is a very silky cloth. Indeed.
I also assume that silk would be cold.
Well, yeah, I mean, silk could be a little lightweight, but you see some of the silk jackets that some of the guests here are wearing as you are, walking through the corridors, going up and down to the common room downstairs and whatnot. And you see that most of the jackets that are made of silk are padded. So they're kind of puffy silk jackets. But
that would have messed with my dexterity. I don't like that.
Yeah. They're they're made to look or they're made to appear like heavier, and probably because there's many, many, many layers of silk in there. And they're probably quite warm, but all right. And does Archimedes ever go down and talk to what's her name?
Oh, for the for the music.
Lady Sybil.
Yeah, Lady Sybil. Okay. So,
I'll unplug my or unpack my my violin and my flutes
and
get
she
them toned and then go down there. Yeah.
okay. Before you
Stress
go
myself.
down there, do you make sure you polish up your instruments, or do you not even?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you have them gleaming and everything, and your instruments are well worn, and they're fine. They're fine instruments, but you have loved them and played them for many years, and you go down and you talk to Lady Sybil, and she says, "Oh, you play," and she looks at your instruments and she says, "Oh, you play those." And it's clear from her tone that she is a bit scandalized that you play instruments that do not positively gleam like they are brand new.
Right.
And she says, "Very well. Let me hear a sampling of something that you play."
Yay.
Let's see. For rogues, I think is there like a performance. Oh, there's a musical instrument, which is a dexterity. If you have musical instrument, you can make a musical instrument check. If not, you can make a dexterity check -1.
Musical instrument. That modifier is always going to be in there already. It says it's a modifier that's in there, so I don't have to type.
Yeah. You don't have to type anything.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So yes, you which instrument do you play for her first?
Would be the violin first, yeah.
Okay. You get this gorgeous tone, and just as you're there playing, you're kind of struck by the way how alive this space is, because the resonance that you get from that violin, it just fills this space without overpowering it. It's a very pure, sweet tone that resonates off of the high ceilings and the marble walls and everything. And there's just this very nice sort of wide, spacious echo that not even an echo, but kind of an aftertone as you're playing that just sort of blends in very nicely. And after you play for a few moments, you can see that Lady Sybil, she's smiling, and her finger is kind of keeping time with what you're playing, and she's sort of bobbing her head slowly, and she just has a very relaxed and pleasant look on her face, and you play for a minute or two or however long. And then when you finish, she says, "Oh my goodness, that was lovely. Um, now, have you performed here in Verbabonc before?"
No, I have not had the pleasure of doing too many performances anywhere other than my demons.
Oh, well, we certainly would be happy to have you uh, play with us, or we could play with you. Now, I see you have several other instruments. Are you as proficient on those as you are with your violin?
Yes, I do the flute and the harmonica. So,
Hmm. Well, I have an idea. Uh, and she offers you the opportunity to sort of lead the orchestra in what amounts to kind of a medieval jazz jam session where you would play the violin, and as long as you give them a tempo and a key, then you sort of improvise or play whatever tune you want, and they'll sort of fill in around that. And it kind of would let you be sort of the featured soloist um, for that section of the performance. And then she names off several tunes that you're familiar with. They're very popular tunes that a lot of bards play. But um, she asks you if you would join the orchestra then playing your flute or your pipes along with the orchestra when they do their renditions of those tunes. And she said that they do, the patrons here like to have the tunes played through 2 or 3 times. So you can, if you want, sort of follow along the first time and then, join in the second time. And if you feel any kind of spirit move you to sort of improvise something with the flute or the pipes as they're going through on subsequent times, you can feel free to do so.
okay, perfect.
All right. So yes, you go ahead and when it's time for the actual performance, go ahead and make me another musical instrument check.
Do that now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Well, it's one of those things where uh, you are aware that you didn't hit all the notes exactly the way you wanted to. And you can tell that some of the other players, um, they kind of give you some looks during the performance, like, what was that all about? Um, but at the end of the performance, the patrons here, all in their fancy silk um, suits and dresses and everything like that, they give you a rousing ovation. They they think it's wonderful. You figure that they probably all have 10 years, and you could play. Everybody in the orchestra could play in a different key, and these people would know the difference. And
Yes.
so, and there are there are not hats per se here, but there are people employed by the hotel that will sort of walk through the crowds delivering drinks. And you notice that the patrons, oftentimes when they will take a drink from the tray, they will oftentimes put gold coins or sometimes platinum coins on these trays. And then at the end of the evening's performance, uh, somebody will collect all of these coins onto a single tray, and they will bring it to the
Orchestra or the band.
orchestra. Yeah, and they count out everything, and at the end of the night, you wind up earning 8 platinum and 23 gold. That's your share. That's your share from what the orchestra received.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah. And from what you can tell, that's fairly evenly split between all 25 of you musicians, the 24-member orchestra and you. So it's like these people that come to these performances, they like their drink and they like to spend their coin. So we are just at the end of our time here now. So guys, I want to thank you for joining me this evening. And we will see about getting to that party next time. The party at Lady Catherine's house. Viewers, thank you guys for joining us this evening. Players, pleasure. It's nice to get back now. Unfortunately, next week, I am on vacation. A week from today, there's a family wedding in Detroit where I will be. So, no game next week. And let me double check what the schedule says. Okay, so it'll be May. Yeah, so then on May 7th will be our next game. So, all right. Do you guys have anything you want to mention that'll be coming up between now and May 7th that you want people to know about?
Nope.
Okay. All right. And since I am going on vacation, I will be having some of my content up. My live streams will, for the most part, not be happening all next week. This coming Monday and the following Monday, there will be a Monster Monday, but those are both pre-recorded. And they are parts 1 and 2 of the Strixhaven Scholars. This coming Monday, we will be looking at the college apprentices and the college pledge mages, which are the second year students and the upperclassmen. And then the following week, we will be looking at the deans and the professors in each of the colleges. With Strixhaven being an adventure that comes from Magic the Gathering, a lot of these creatures started off as Magic the Gathering cards, and they've been translated over to D&D. And it's kind of interesting how they create and use these characters as NPCs in the campaign. But I think the really wonderful thing about this whole array of students, professors, and deans that they give you is how you could reskin those various levels of mages as some kind of a magic themed cult, or perhaps a magic themed criminal organization. Because you have all of your first year students that kind of be like your street thugs and your low level people that would go cause mayhem with the commoners, and then as you go up in the ranks, you get to more and more powerful casters that if you sort of change what they're doing but keep them all sort of in their ranks, they could cause a nice story arc and could be a long-term antagonist for your party in a campaign. So we're going to be looking at that in terms of how you might reskin all these creatures. So join me. Well, actually, don't join me, but just go to the YouTube channel and watch those in the next coming Mondays. And then we will be back to live streams on the first full week of May. It'll be that Wednesday. I believe that date is Wednesday, the 4th of May. Will be the next actual live stream. All right. Thank you guys so much. Take care, and we will talk to you later.